Hello, good morning everyone. Here Mrs. Archana Divedi teaching English from Kendra Vidyalaya, Singrauli. I am here with you a chapter named The Tsunami from class 8th English. Have you ever seen those disaster movies where volcano erupts and engulfs the entire city? People scramble around to save their life and once they love. But these things simply cannot happen in the movies. In fact, it's the movies that are inspired by the real life events. Everything can change with just the blink of anyone. An eye. Everything can change with just the blink of an eye. The instances that I am about to tell you in this session is a testament to that. And so it began the day of Christmas, 26th of December 2004. In the era of rain morning when all were sleeping, tsunami hit Andaman and Nicobar. First of all, the question raised in our mind is, what is tsunami? A tsunami is a series of ocean waves that are generated by large movements or other disturbance on the ocean's floor. Such disturbances include volcanic eruptions, landslides, and underwater explosions, but earthquakes are the most common cause. Tsunamis can occur close to the shore or travel thousands of miles if the disturbance occurs in the deep ocean. The word tsunami is derived from a Japanese word translating into harbor waves. See, a tsunami is a series of huge waves that happen after an undersea disturbance such as an earthquake or volcano eruption. We see these are the real images when volcano or the tsunami happens. This is a natural calamity. This is picture of natural disaster. See, in the introductory section, this chapter includes many real incidents from Andaman and Nicobar Islands as well as from Thailand when tsunami hit these areas on December 26, 2004. These incidents involve stories of courage, survival, bravery, faith, and destiny. Here, this is your story. Children, you just go through this story properly. Read thoroughly. It will help you to enhance your reading habit as well as understanding level. See, this is a part of your textbook, Honeydew. This is your chapter. Here is a word, archipelago, means a group of many islands in the surroundings sea. Now come to the main character of the chapter, Ignatius, a cooperative society's manager. He is one of the main important role of the story. Now let's focus on the soul of the chapter. First, we see stories from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Ignatius' story, the story of Sanjeev and Meghna. Almas Javed's story, stories from Thailand. Tilly Smith and her heroic acts. The animals and their sixth sense. So I am going to brief you. Ignatius was completely unaware on the morning of 26 December, sleeping peacefully when his wife woke up him up at 6 a.m. After she felt an earthquake, as a precautionary measure, he removed the television set from the table and placed it on the ground in order to save it from falling off the table. Then the entire family rushed out of their house. However, as the tremors of the earthquake stopped, they were shocked to see level rising. They were utterly confused, not knowing what was happening. In this confusion, they started to run in a chaotic fashion. Half of his family members ran in one direction and the others ran in the opposite direction. He never saw his wife, her father, brother, and his two children never again. Perhaps they were swept away and were now dead. Luckily, his three children that accompanied him were saved. Sanjeev was a policeman in the Kachul island of the Nicobar group of islands. He managed to save himself, his wife, and his baby daughter from the waves. However, after he jumped into the sea, hearing the guest house cook, John's wife, screaming, he failed to save either the cook's wife or himself. Both of them got drowned in the gush of the waves. Meghna, along with her parents and 77 other people, was swept away by the wave. However, she kept floating in the sea for 2 days. For 2 days, she held onto a wooden door, which kept her afloat and saved her. During these 2 days, several times she saw the rescue helicopters, but they couldn't see her. Later, she was brought to the shore by another very strong wave. Meghna was just 13 when she had to go through the pain of having lost her parents. Here we can see the story of bravery and courage, because at the time Meghna was only at the age of 13 when she had to go through the pain of having lost her parents. Here we see Almas Javed's story. 10 years old, Almas Javed had lost both her parents as well as her grandfather. On that last morning, Alma's father saw the sea water moving back at its usual point. He was sure that the water would come back with a greater force. He woke everyone and tried to rush out the family to a safer place, but it was too late by then. In an attempt to save to grandfather, Alma's father too was swept away by the waves. Almas fainted at the sight of his great loss. She was later rescued and taken to a hospital in Kamota and then to Port Blair, but she continues to be a traumatic condition and refuses to talk about the incident. Alma's mother and aunts climbed to the leaves of a coconut tree, but the waves uprooted the entire tree. Now come to the stories from Thailand. Tilly Smith and her heroic acts. Tilly Smith, a British school girl, saved many lives at a beach resort in southern Thailand when she had gone to celebrate Christmas with her family. Tilly Smith, on seeing the condition of the sea, was reminded of her geography lesson in which the geography teacher has shown the students a video of tsunami that had struck Hawaiian Thailand in 1946. Tilly was sure that the rising levels of the sea, the formation of the foam, the bubbles, and the whirlpool were all symptomatic of the tsunami as shown in the video. Tilly began screaming and asked her family to leave the beach. The other tourists on the beach did the same. Nobody except Tilly knew what was happening. They were just alarmed by Tilly's reaction and did as she advised. They took refuge in the topmost floor, the third floor of the building, and were saved. Had they stayed on the beach, they would have been swept away by the waves. Most sensitive part of the story, the animals and their sixth sense. It was strangely observed that a little before the wave struck the coast of India and Sri Lanka, the animals had some kind of intuition and were reacting strangely. The dogs refused to step outdoors, the flamingos refused to come down to low-lying breeding areas, and other zoo animals to rushed to their shelters. It is believed that perhaps animals could feel the vibration of the earth. Their acute hearing power saved them from the massive earthquake under the sea. The proof of this is that the giant wave killed more than 50,000 people across countries, but hardly an animals were reported dead. Examples: along India's Gadlor coast, thousands of people died, but buffaloes, goats, and dogs remained unharmed. The Yala National Park and Patangala Beach in Sri Lanka, 60 visitors were swept away by the waves, but no animal carcasses were found. It is very strange because the Yala National Park is home to a variety of animals and more than 30 species of birds. So these are the few examples of bravery and courage we have seen in that story, and animals have their sixth sense, so they just reacting before the volcano or the natural calamity. See, here we can see the summary of the story. These are the short real incidents of many people from Andaman and Nicobar Islands as well as from Thailand. Ignatius, a cooperative society's manager, when got aware of tsunami, rushed out of his house. But he lost his 2 kids and his wife, Sanjeev. A policeman, however, saved his life and his baby daughter, but swept away is rescuing his guest house cook's wife. 13-year-old Meghna was swept away along with her parents and 77 other people, but walked safely on the seashore after 2 days. She saw the relief helicopter 11 times, but they did not see her. Almas Javed, a 10-year-old girl, is still under trauma. She, along with her father and mother, had gone to Non-Kori Island to celebrate Christmas. When the tremors came, they rushed to a safer place. Suddenly, her grandfather was hit by something and he fell down. In a rush to help him, her father and the old man swept away in the giant waves. Her mother and her aunts stood clinging to the leaves of coconut tree, but a wave uprooted the tree and the two were washed away. Almas herself took a log of wood and climbed on it and fainted. But she woke up. She was in the hospital. This is the story of 10-year-old Tilly Smith, who saved her family and many other tourists from the deadly tsunami. She was on the beach of Thailand with her family celebrating Christmas. She saw the waves rising, forming bubbles and whirlpools. She remembered her geography lesson, which she had studied just 2 weeks ago. She had seen video on tsunamis, thus she could easily make out that it was tsunami. She screamed and asked her family to run. They all ran and took shelter on the third floor of their hotel, and thus their lives were saved. So, this is all your story. The moral of the story: tsunami is a natural calamity that causes huge destruction and loss of property. Alongside the story of deep sorrow are reassuring details of courage, survival, and resilience. One should show acts of courage, care, and compassion in the bitter struggle of survival and rehabilitation. So, we are very lucky of having such a beautiful and wonderful life. We have air to breathe, we have water to drink, we have food to eat. So, we have to live happily. Life is very precious. So, each and every single second is very precious for us. Live happily, never give up. So, we have to continue in session 2 the other remaining exercises. Thank you for watching.